what about design? This is a special edition of our podcast where our dearest friend here, Frank Myong, is going to show you some practical ways to do things in Photoshop. So I'm so glad that you are with us, Frank, to show us some of your magic skills in terms of design programs.
You sound very nice when you say magic skills. They're not magic. They are only practical. But I will be, of course, glad to share with you uh, the first lesson. The first thing that I wanted to show you is how to make perfect selection. The first image is just three balls on a regular white background. So the easiest way to do it is just to take your wand tool, just type W on your keyboard, and then you will have it, and click on the background. You will see that it will produce a selection, that it will select only the background, the white background, and also it will select the uh, shadow, which is projected by the balls on the um, white background. How to avoid this? Well, we can make a simple selection using a elliptical marquee tool, and we can imitate the roundness of the ball, just like doing so. And of course, when we hold the space and the shift, we can move the selection, not expanding it. And if we want to expand the selection and we want to constrain it proportionally, we can only hold the shift key, not holding the space key, and expand it with the mouse, all the time holding the shift key. And of course, we can put it through wherever we like. So it will be okay. So we will have something that is similar to the roundness to the ball, that covers the ball. If you can see, when I move, you see these lines which are showing. They're actually showing the middle of the document. So when I see this purple line here, it's showing me where the middle of the screen of the document is. Right? But if I want to make the perfect selection using this tool, for me, it will be easier to make additional guides. But first, let me activate the rules. The rules can be activated by clicking Command and R, just like I did before, and just, we are pulling the lines from the rule scale. It will be very easy. So I need one for here, one for here, and one for, I don't know, for the right side. So this will be our area where our selection using the marquee tool will be placed. So we can start from the top left corner, which will be the beginning point, the initial point of the selection. And now we have the perfect round ellipse. So if we want this to pull out this ball from the background, we can do something very, very simple. Just type Command and J, and it will produce two layers, if you see here. So the layer below, which is called background, when we switch off the background, we will see these squares, this checkboard. That means that when we see the checkboard always in Photoshop, that means transparency. That means that nothing is present and it's completely empty, right? So we now have this ball on this checkboard, which means that this, if the checkboard is transparent, we can put whatever we like beneath the ball. So let me make new layer, and put some color on behind that. So you see, it's completely, well, I see the selection now is not very good because, you see this line here, the white line, but it's okay. So, of course, you can use always the wand tool, or there is another tool which is called select tool. So in all the older version of Photoshop, we use something that is called color range. Color range actually creates a map of one color which is used in the image, and it will select it, just like the wand tool does, but more precise. So we have also this fuzziness, which is called fuzziness, is the force of the selection. We need something because we have a perfect white color. We need, the smallest amount of fuzziness. Okay, let it be this way. So it will produce also another selection of the three balls together. So it selects only the perfect white color. We can invert the selection by clicking Command Shift and I, and be careful because if we click Command I, it will produce something else. I will show you later, but now let's click Command Shift and I. It will reverse the selection. So now only the balls are selected, not the white background. And then we will do the same Command and J. It will produce, I will erase these two because we don't need them. It will produce again two layers. So the upper layer will be with the transparent background. The checkboard. If we see the checkboard, that means we have a transparent background. In the creation business, or in the production business of mass producing images, we always check our selections. So if we pull out from the background something, we are always correct. We are always checking, is the selection okay? So for that, we are creating another layer and just making it some dark color. Of course, it always can be black because the black is perfect. So now we can see how good we are in this selection. You see, there is some dirty edges, unclear edges here, because this select color algorithm is creating always, it's automatically, mathematically actually creating the middle value of the white color, of the perfect white color, which is 0, 0, 0, of the background. So if some pixels are with different value of the, or different, in other words, different intensity of the color, so maybe they're more gray than white, they will not be included in that selection, and they will stay on our image, and this will not be clear, and this will create some kind of dirty look, which of course in that resolution, if you use it for internet, will not be that visible. But if you put it on some poster and it will be big, 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 you will see that the selection is not perfect. And this is the sign for experienced, designers or people who are actually creating images to see that this is a work of an amateur. Let me show you how it will look on objects that are similar with color, like yellow banana on yellow background. And if we will use this tool, the color range tool, it will be very difficult to see what is happening here, to distinct to a perfect yellow color. That will be our base for extracting the image from the background. So if we expand the sensitivity of the tool, we will also select the yellow color which is included in that banana. Actually, this method, the color range tool, the color range method, is very similar to the wand, to the method of the wand tool. It is one of the oldest. It is a pure mathematical tool. It works sometimes if you want to do something very quickly with images that are shot against perfect white background or perfect black background or a perfect color background, and they can be used in something in the internet for the internet purposes. But okay, let me show you now what will happen here. You see the banana. Okay, let me inverse this. Okay.
It doesn't look so good.
Yeah, the banana doesn't look so good because it is also yellow. You see? So the yellow, which is the yellow color, which is included in the image of the banana, is the same as the background. So it will produce some kind of dirty image, which is unusable completely. Okay, there is in the latest Photoshop, I think from 2018 further, or even maybe 2015, I don't remember exactly when. Adobe Photoshop, or Apple Adobe, the firm Adobe, created another method, which is called select and mask. So now, because the yellow on yellow doesn't work too well, even with that selection, which is using this fusion of algorithms. But let's see what will happen if you use it on a regular portrait shots, which are, shot on a white background, white, actually almost regular, equally colored background. So let me remind you that the skin tones are actually warm tones, and also the hair here is also warm tones. So they are in one group of colors, and the background is in another group of colors. So presumably, this will be, the selection that our tools will produce, our automatic tools will produce, will be quite productive. Let's see. Okay. Now, control it on. Okay. Okay, now it is a very fast selection. Let's see what will happen. When we click OK, it will produce this a selection, you see, but this selection will be put in a quick mask here on the layer. So you see in the quick mask, which is added to the layer. Can you see it, Maria?
Yes, yes, of course.
Or also, it is also called a layer mask. So in this mask, everything that is black is transparent, and everything that is white is non-transparent.
Yes, there is also a poetry like white reveals, black conceals.
Yeah. So we can reverse that selection very easily just by being very careful not to click on the actual image, which is on the left icon here on the layer, but to click. Okay, let me expand the layer because you can also uh, enlarge the windows in layer options. You can enlarge them maximum. Okay, at maximum. So be careful not to click on the actual image, but to click on the mask. So now clicking here, just type Command I, which will mean invert, and if you see now, the background is black and the actual selection is white. So we produce quite acceptable selection of that pretty beautiful lady. And to check that, we can, of course, as in the previous case, put a black layer beneath it to check what is the quality. And now we see that it's look, not everywhere, but for example, where the skin is present, because we have almost perfect lines in here, it looks more or less okay. But where the uh, hair is, it's not that okay. But of course, you know, as they say, television lies, we can also lie a bit. So we can use the erase tool, or just a brush. It depends on what effect what you want to produce. And now we need the black. Let's work only on the mask, not on the actual image. Forget about that. We can uh, touch the actual image because it will produce stains. So we will work only on the selection, and then we can use the brush tool, paint in black. If we paint black, the image, not on the, again, not on the actual image, but on the selection, the image will become transparent. Okay, let me change the color of the background so that you can understand what is happening here. So you see, when I paint the, okay, I'm not very well, I suppose, today. When I paint the, with the black brush, the mask, the image, the areas that I'm painting are becoming transparent. So of course, if we change the color by just clicking X, so the foreground color is white, and we still have the brush tool, and we paint the quick selection, the mask, with white color, it will lose its transparency, and it will become non-transparent again. So in order to a little bit create illusion of perfect selection, we can paint on the edges of the hair, so it will look like that, and it will look almost natural. See, actually this selection is one of the best for hair, because hair is the worst, the nightmare for designers, because it's very hard to be selected, because it is so much detailed. It has so very much details on it. Okay, so now what we will do here? We can change the size of the brush. We can make it smaller, and we can lie here. Okay, it's enough. Nobody will actually check. Of course, if the background is dark, it will be visible, the imperfections. But if the background is light, like I did it here, it will not be visible. Nobody will, see it. So, but we have this, not good spaces between the actual hair.
Mm-hmm.
What we will do here? Well, there are a couple of ways of doing it. First of all, we can be, we want to be to lie very, very much, we can just copy the layer, just in case, the old wear is still available, and we can make some line by cloning the hair. It will look thicker. I mean, the hair will look thicker, but we will have less work, like this. Or we can buy it from here by using the stamp, tool. You see, the stamp tool is activated. But if you see, the stamp tool is producing some kind of a dirty look. When we look from afar, it won't be that distinctable, nobody will actually see it, but it's not good. So what can we do? Okay, so if I want to, I want to show you one more tool, but in order to do that, I will go back to the banana, because if you remember, we have this problem of selecting it, with several different methods, but unproductive. So there is one tool, which is actually one of the oldest tool in Photoshop, which is called Pen Tool. It goes here, or just by typing P. So the Pen Tool, when we use it, will produce path. But let me first make this a selection, and then I will show you. So the Pen Tool, we will go manually. Unfortunately, it's a lot of work, but it works perfectly. I can show you that. You will see. Manually on the edges of the picture we want to extract from the background. From no matter what but background. We just can extract the image. So now, because I'm very much experienced, you can see I work much faster than somebody else can do it. But what is important here, when I click on the edge that I want to be repeated as a path, I never do simple click, I'm never putting the point just like that, on the image. When I put the point, I'm holding still the key of the mice, and I'm expanding it so that I can see these mustaches. So actually, these mustaches are called Bezier curves. Bezier curves. Yeah. So these mustaches will be actually the navigation, I mean, the controls of this exact point, of this point, which is using these curves. The vector, actually, this is a vector. Once again, I'm putting the point here because I can, I'm sorry, let's go down. I can, in my mind, I can project how the curve will go. So I already know where to put the next point and to expand the Bezier mustaches so that I can mimic the curve of the actual edge of the banana. So, okay, you can train that at home. Let me finish the image. Mm-hmm. Of course, there is one more thing. We can add points. For example, like here, I have big distance between the the previous and the last one. So I can insert points by just clicking. I do nothing. Only right now I'm only moving the cursor in the mouse. So you see the plus sign next to the pen tool. So that means that it allows me to insert a point. So I'm inserting a point, and I'm moving the point by holding the control or the command key and holding the mouse together. So if I hold the control, I will see this arrow that is showing me that this is actually the move tool, which we know from this palette here, right? So that means that I can move the object. So I'm moving it just to mimic again the curve. I don't know what to do. Okay. And be careful when you go back to the actual path, never click on the last point because it remembers. So if you click, on the side, you will see it will produce next point. So never do click again on the last point, because when you see this dash, it means that your path goes aside. It's not a continuation of the same path, but it goes aside. This is a very common mistake, but don't worry, it can be repaired. So now we go I do nothing, just clicking the next point here. Okay, yeah. So I'm clicking, I'm adjusting the mustaches so that they can mimic the curve of the banana. And you see, I'm almost at the end, at the point where I started. What will happen now?
What?
Mhm. So be careful not to leave the path like that, because now we have the start point and the end point next to each other, right? When I do this, you see this old zero, which is also this means that it will join when these 2 points will be joined. The overall path will be one vector path. You see, like this.
Yes.
So it's completed. I mean, it's closed. It's a closed circuit. And where we have this, we have it in paths here. So this one is called everything. Every new path in Photoshop will be automatically called work path. But of course, we can have multiple paths here. And by clicking 2 times on this palette, we can change the name. So let's make it banana or path 1 or whatever we like to call it. Let's call it banana. Okay, now we have this path banana. When I unclick that here, the path will disappear. We will have the regular image we have, until this time. So how can I make a selection from that path? Very simply, just by clicking on the icon, but with the command or control key together with the mice left key.
Left mouse. Yes.
Left mouse key, yeah. So command key and together with the, of course I can use this when I click first on the path, it will turn lighter. So that means that it's selected. And I could click here, load path as selection. It will create a selection. But the simplest I do that always, the simplest way to do that is just by clicking on the icon with the command key and with the mouse key. And we will have the same thing, basically. So we will have selection. And what is the difference? Okay, let me show you. We will once again do Control J. It will produce new layer with the selection in it. We will have, let's make it black now. So we will have better contrast. Of course, don't worry that the black is on the top. I can always move it behind the banana. And now what we will have?
Perfect.
We have a perfect selection of the objects. You see, it's not leaking. There are no leaking pixels anywhere.
Quite nice.
It's
I
quite
like.
nice. And this is the professional way of selecting objects in composition and in photography. But okay, let's go back to our lady.
Okay.
Let's go back to our lady and to this image. So we can do the same here for these holes of the uh, curls of that lady, the pretty rich curls of that lady. So we can use also the path tool to create a perfect selection. I will make a couple of them. I will not make all of them, just to show maybe how it works, because it will take a lot of time.
Yes, you have to be very patient.
Yes, actually, patience is very important here because when we work with computers, actually, we never have to be nervous because this is only a machine. The machine doesn't understand our feelings and doesn't understand that, for example, I'm hungry, I'm mad, or I don't know, I have a headache, I have a bad day. This is only a machine. It doesn't have to be responsible for your for your bad feelings, right? Okay. Because usually people are frustrated and they're beating the computers. They're oh Jesus, I'm sorry. This my mouse is jumping because it's a wireless mouse and it's very sensitive, and it's jumping just like that. It's not it's not the fault of the computer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think for now, we have selected
Okay.
a
Okay.
couple of the
So,
holes.
and
Uh,
now,
I will not go to the end for now, but I will show you what happens. Okay, so now we have this work path. As I told you, it produces always the work path, our work path from this pen tool path we created manually. So we will again click with by clicking the command key and the mouse key, we will produce selection. And we don't want to expel to get rid of the actual pixels that are included in that image. So we can do it on the, of course, mask, right? So by clicking, of course, we can always use the fill tool, which I never use. Oh, it's not that one. I forgot it. It's a bucket. Sorry, it's called a bucket tool. It's
yes,
a
it is near the gradient.
no, the grade. It's okay. It's near the
When
gradient.
you
Yeah,
right click,
you can always, you can use the paint bucket tool in order to paint the background. But I never use that because it's a complete, loss of time. What you can do, for example, when you have a selection, there is a very simple way to paint the selection in one color. You just click this type of, this combination of keys on your keyboard, command and backspace. So it will here it will produce the black color, but since we are in the mask, it will create, because if we remember, the black color is transparent, so we created transparency. So,
mm,
but this doesn't look that good because it creates a big hole with regular edges, and this regular edges don't look very natural. So, what can we do this to look more natural? Of course, it never will be perfect, but it will be. What can we do this to be more
closer.
perfect? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we can go back and we can actually can use the feather tool, uh, can feather away the selection. Feather, it means that the selection can be more soft. We can do that by going to modify. If you see now, there are a couple of options here: smooth, expand, contract. Expand, that means the selection will be expanded by the amount of pixels you want. Contract, that means the selection will be contracted by the amount of pixels you want, but we will use the feather. The feather is actually some kind of a blur on the edges, you will see. So let's make, I don't know, 5 or 6. Actually, this number depends on the resolution of the image. The bigger the resolution of the image, the bigger this amount of pixels should be. But this is very, fast understandable, in practice. You will see. Okay, now what happened? Now we softened the selection, we feathered it, and now we can all again click on Command and Backspace, and it left a bit of the original pixels image.
Uh-huh.
So of course it's not
Looks more
perfect.
natural.
It's not perfect, but it's a little bit better. And to be more even precise, we can always paint on that. Actually, on covers magazines like Vogue or Harper's Bazaars or Fortune or whatever, they are sometimes painting, hairs I mean hairlines, hair, see, one hair on the images so that they can look more natural. The hair actually, as I said before, is the nightmare of designers. But what can we do? We can, I don't know, we can use clones of this curl here and to put it in here so so this could look more natural. We can always use another layer on the top of this one. We can do that, we can do that. Okay. So, the main goal is to use combination of techniques. It doesn't have to be one technique because there is no perfect solution for the hair, you know. It looks for the banana, but not for the hair, because the hair is complex, very complex, multi-object image. Okay, so now we can paint also on the selection, on the mask, and directly on the mask. So we will produce some kind of this. See? Illusion that this hair is natural. This background is natural. Because now when you look at it, it looks like it glows, Usually, I'm always getting rid of this. I can do another thing also. I can get rid of this. Actually, I can leave only the big amount of the hair that is in here. Just going like this.
Can you simply get rid of it?
Yeah, of course, because you don't need all of it, because nobody saw the original image. So it won't be able to say how big the hair of this model was. Okay, just let me use a sample of it. Mhm. Okay, so now I'm clicking on this work path. And now I will use, of course, the softening of the selection. So it was the feather. And I will use a factor of 3, a little bit less than factor. And I will go again to the mask, not to the actual picture. And I will click black. You see? Now we have a lot of less work to do.
Less work to do, definitely. Well,
We can
yeah,
repeat that. We can make a selection of these curls. We can repeat it here. We can make, I'm sorry, because I'm showing with my hands. We can repeat this part here, and we can make, the hair to look bigger and stuff. But everything is doable. So maybe next time, Professor Maria, you will show, you will check the
definitely,
homework. Okay.
definitely. I will show you. We will choose a model and then we will try to use all the tools that he showed us in order to do almost perfect selections. Thank you so much.
Welcome. And to see you next time.
See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.